Alex and I feel about this guy. Just an amazing guy. We met him when he was almost a baby. No, but just an amazing guy. He's been our friend, our mentor, always believed in us, and that's the kind of person you want as your, as your mentor. Just never giving up on you, always believing in us, and so we're excited to be here in the office with him, and just fired up for doing this thing together again.
All
So, want to bring Nicholas Lancaster up here. Let's give him a big
Big bag shot.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I need the whiteboard actually one more time. Okay. Give you guys a couple double dose. How's everybody doing? Man, how was the energy in here today?
Very
good. It was great, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And the air's on like 69 degrees, you guys. So if it's hot, it's not our fault. It's just that there's a lot of people breathing some hot air. Like dragon breath or something. Fired up. Sucking it in and blowing it out. And sucking in the cool air and blowing out hot air. So it's kind of working against us. Awesome. You guys feeling good?
Yes.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Every time we meet, it's another opportunity for you to get better, right?
Yes.
Not just, trust me, we have to appeal to the different personalities in here, whether you're technical, whether you need a hug, or you need to be challenged, or, you need some system training, some product training, whatever it is. But first of all, I want to go over something with you. Is let me ask you a question. What book are you reading right now?
177 Middle
What book you're reading right now? And I was sharing with one of my SMDs last night that if you just read like as little as one chapter a day, it only takes you. What are most chapters in a book? How long does it take you to read maybe a chapter in a book? Like anyone read like personal development books? How long does it take to read like a chapter, honestly?
20 minutes.
About 20 minutes? So think about it, 20 minutes a day. What's the average book? How many chapters are normal in most books?
12 to 15. 12
to 15 maybe, somewhere in that range. So you could get through 2 books a month just reading for 20 minutes a day, right? 20 minutes that you would probably use on Instagram or Facebook, right? Ever since that phone app came out, that screen time app came out, right? I want to challenge you to check your screen time from time to time and always work to see the trend saying, hey, down from last week or down from yesterday. Who knows what I'm talking about? You guys Apple people?
Yep.
Any Android people in here?
Yeah.
Swan, Ed Milet, all the Penny Oil, all the big leaders have Apple devices, just so you know. The biggest income earners all have Apple. We'll convert you sooner than later. Yeah, so there's a screen time, and it actually shows you like how much time you spent on your phone on each app. So how much time you spent on Instagram in a day, or social media in a day, or just looking at your phone throughout the day. And so always strive to, it has the trends for the week and for the day. Always strive to have that number always going down, where it's like, hey, down 6% from last week, or down 17% from last week, and start sticking your nose more in books. I'm reading actually 3 different books right now. One of them is The Magic of Getting What You Want. It's by David Swartz. It's the same guy that wrote The Magic of Thinking Big, and that's a highly recommended book. If you haven't read that book, highly recommend that book. It was a book that was recommended to me when I first started in the business. The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And so this book is the magic of getting what you want. And there's a lot of things on clarity in there, and just for the sake of time, I'm not going to get into it. I'm reading another book, and I forget the author. It's The Power of Focus, and that's a dynamic book as well, because what better than to get what you want than to focus on it, and really there's a lot to that book too. And one day I'll share some more stuff with you guys regarding that. But the power of focus, yeah. The power of focus. And so, again, just a chapter a day. Very, very simple, I'm not a reader that likes to read at night because I'll fall asleep. Usually when I get home, it's, not much time is spent, staying awake. It's like I get home, and if I find a seat somewhere, that's probably where I'm gonna end up crashing out, So reading at night doesn't usually work for me, but reading in the morning or reading maybe after a workout, things like that do really well, for me. But you gotta find time for it. You have to find time for it. It could be, in your office, or it could be, I like even doing Starbucks. Throw your headphones on, right? Throw your headphones on, put on some real low, like a classical or something, just some kind of beat or tone, just something very, very low. Because I'm the kind of person that typically it has to be like dead silent, but at least if you're in an environment where you might be able to prospect someone, you might get introduced, or a lot of times depending on what you're reading, people ask you like, hey, what are you reading? Or I make my calls at Starbucks now, probably about a third of the time that I make calls during the week, I make them at a Starbucks. Sometimes I like being in the office because I'm getting other things done too, but I like going to Starbucks when I make my calls too, because people overhear the conversations, and then they go, hey, what business are you in? Oh, I was overhearing your conversation. And what do the conversations sound like? The conversations are talking to a teammate about, hey, you're gonna go make 30 grand this month, and I can see you doing this and see you doing that. People are like, wait, what? Right? What are you doing? Or what kind of business are you in? So it can lead to opportunities. But yeah, you gotta find that time, to read and work on yourself and to do those things. Can you hand me my binder? How many of you guys, I know I asked this last week too, but how many of you guys recently went out and got a binder? Anyone recently went out and did this? You get your little plastic inserts, and again, I've had this binder for years, and I need to add more stuff to it just even as I'm going through it. I have some of my talks and notes and different things. I went and spoke in Vancouver, and some of the things that I talked about is in here that I brought with me, and they were blown away with this whole thing. They're like, you need to do like a YouTube video on how to create this binder and how to do all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, probably not gonna happen, but nonetheless, you got to put something together that can kind of keep you on track and keep your numbers in there, and your goals, your affirmations, your daily focus, weekly focus, and stuff like that. Okay. So we're going to continue to talk about, geez, I forgot what I was going to write on that board now. We're going to continue to talk about the words, okay? The words, because the words of the business is what's most important. Oh, okay, I'm just going to write a couple things on here. I do want to share with you guys were at Momentum Monday, right? Yes. How was that? Awesome. You guys love Momentum Monday? Yes. Who did not attend Momentum Monday? Just by show of hands. Who did not attend? Too many of you, right? Too many of you, okay. Make it a point. There's already there's a calendar for the next year, or the remainder of the year. If you knew ahead of time, you could probably ask for time off, or you could just kind of, you could tell them like, hey, next month I'm going to be sick on this day. Freaking jobs. Like you use all your sick days when you're not sick, and then when you're really sick, like you have to show up to work. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But anyway, okay. So the next one's October 14th. So there you go. Mark your calendars right now. So you can you really can't tell them like a month in advance you're going to a funeral, because that's kind of weird. But you could probably tell them a month in advance that you have a family reunion. You have a family reunion, you have maybe a family member's having surgery, and you need to be there for them, or whatever the case may be. I guess when that sounds kind of, yeah, what's the word? What's the word when it's like weird to like say stuff like that? Like I'm not a big believer in like I'm not a big believer in all that stuff. Like what's it called? Like when people wear superstitious, or we say stupid-stitious, but I'm not one of those people. But kind of when you say you're going to a funeral, and it's kind of you're almost like, I hope no one doesn't die, and all that kind of stuff. But you just maybe the day before, right? So the day before you say, hey, I'm going to call in sick. So already pre-planned. So if it's the 14th and the 13th, you go, I need to make sure that I'm I call in sick for the next day or whatever the case may be. You guys good?
Yes.
All right, so what they talked about though, which is the main emphasis here, is one of the things that was really touched on a lot was going from a trainee to a trainer, right? How many of you guys are trainers in here? By show of hands, who's a trainer? Okay, so there's not enough trainers, okay? Who's a trainee? Who doesn't know which one you are? Because not everyone raised their hand. Okay, if you're a trainer, raise your hand. Trainer. Okay, trainee, raise your hand. Okay, that should be everybody else, okay. And when we raise our hands, you guys, it's like a flag, it's like, you pull the flag, you put the flag all the way at the top of the pole, so you try to reach the ceiling when you raise your hand, you try to reach as high as you can. Okay, this isn't raising your hand. Okay, that's like swearing in, like you're getting older.
What do we have short hair?
All right, you got short arms, yeah. The T-Rex. The T-Rex, like, here I am, like okay. So anyway, you're a trainee or you're a trainer, okay? This process, you guys, is a 6-week process. This is 6 weeks. It's not 6 years, it's not 6 months, it's 6 weeks. It's a 6-week process, okay? Meaning in 6 weeks, you have to do pretty much 2 things. You got to get through your 10 KTPs, right? And you got to get your license. You got to pass your test. Get licensed and appointed. So if you go take your test in 2 weeks, you should be licensed and appointed, right? Comes in another week or 10 days. You get, appointed. You've done your 10 appointments. You've probably had some guests to the BPM, right? So you've seen some follow-up interviews. You've probably conducted some one-on-ones. You've made some calls. You know the scripts. You're ready to roll. So let's talk about these things, because I know, some people want to go, well, specifically, what do I got to do to get from point A to point B? So, and I wrote 1 and 2. So yeah, but you know what I mean, point A and point B. So to go from point A to point B here, being a trainer, there's a few things. One is that you got to know how to prospect, or do a list and also get new prospects. You got to be able to make a phone call. So when we say calls, we're talking about the scripts, all scripts. Help me script, the invite script, setting up a KTP, and all the words, all the objections. Okay. What's the third thing, you guys? The third thing is the hiring interview / right, the one-on-one, right? So the hiring interview / the one-on-one recruiting presentation, right? So you gotta know how to conduct those on your own, right? 4, Reggie was mentioning, the KTP, client presentation, right? Gotta be able to effectively give a winning presentation there. Be able to present it, get the dollar commitment, book the follow-up appointment, get the result, right? Order the labs, follow up on underwriting, deliver, get the policy issued, get it delivered, referrals, all that stuff, right? And then the last one, number 5, is the fast start process. So now you're taking someone through the process of becoming from a trainee to a trainer yourself. So, from everything from the prospect list to making the calls with them, to setting up their interviews, to helping them build a team, getting them out on their KTPs, right? Building them up as a potential leader. So these are the 5 things, this fast start process. Okay? So these are the 5 things that you have to get psycho-fanatic about learning and getting good at mastering. So if you're gonna become a trainer, then you gotta get good at these 5 things right here. Right? So you gotta get lasered in on these 5 things. But here's the thing. Do you necessarily need to know how to do the KTP if you can't make a phone call or invite someone? Nope. Right? So a lot of times people get licensed, they go, I need to learn the product, I need to learn this. Well, if it doesn't matter if you know the product if you can't get in front of somebody. Does that make sense? The number 1 skill that you can learn in this business is how to book an appointment. How to set up an appointment, how to call someone, set up an appointment, get someone to show up. That's the number 1 skill. You guys with me?
Yes.
Very, very important. Very, very important that you learn these things. So you get with your trainer and you go, okay, hey, all right, so we're gonna go over some of this stuff tonight. We're gonna go over the prospecting. We're gonna go how to prospect someone. We're gonna go over the phone calls, right? So we're gonna go over 1 and 2, which are the most important things. All this other stuff you're gonna learn hands-on, right? So when Guillermo was like, when I used to talk to Guillermo and I'd say, hey, teach me the one-on-one, he would say, set up a one-on-one and watch me do it. Right? I was like, hey, teach me the KTP. Set up a KTP, watch me do it, and that's how you learn. You learn by doing.
That's right.
And that's always been the case. Right? And we can do boot camps, all that stuff till you're blue in the face, but if I was training you how to ride a bike and I spent, 50 minutes in here teaching you, out of a, in a classroom or out of a textbook, right? And I didn't spend any time out there, taking the training wheels off and pushing you down the, down the street here in the parking lot. You're not going to learn how to ride a bike very fast, right? In a classroom, you learn how to ride a bike out on the street or out on the sidewalk. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with this business. So we're going to try to simulate. Is that the best word to say? Like we're going to simulate it? Mock, right? We're gonna role play. We're gonna call, we call it drill for skill, right? Drill, practice, rehearse these words, how to set up an appointment, the objections, right? So we're gonna go over this stuff again and again and again, and we have other tools and other things that we use here in our office to help you get results. One of the things that we use is something called Phone Zone, right? And I know it's like completely foreign to people that don't show up to it, but we do Phone Zone every Monday night, and in these phone zones, we actually make phone calls, and then the phone calls will get you experience and also help you book an appointment. So when we say, hey, there's Phone Zone, if you want to hit your goals and you want to get better and you want to become a trainer, then you got to show up to Phone Zone and make calls. Well, what if I show up to Phone Zone, I'm the only one here? Well, that's why you have your binder, and that's why we're teaching you the scripts, and so you can start to make calls even on your own. But you gotta form that habit. Now, if they're brand new calls, if you're a brand new agent, then yeah, you're gonna set up a time with your trainer, right, to make those calls with you, right? Some people that have a really good market, and and they're very credible people, they can make their own calls and book appointments. I love recruiting someone that can set up their own appointments. Like, hey, I got this appointment at 6 o'clock. Hey, I got this appointment. Hey, I got 3 guests coming in, and I don't have to make the calls for them. That's awesome. Amen. Some people, they need a little bit more. They need someone to hold their hand a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay because you're going to be so don't feel bad about it that maybe we need to hold your hand or need to put the training wheels on, because at some point you're going to be doing that with your new recruits too. Yes. Not everyone's going to be independent right away or really get it. And even the ones that say I can make my own calls, probably about half the time, probably shouldn't be making their own calls because they're saying the wrong things. Okay? So that leads me to, so this is where we're going to put our focus tonight, okay? We're going to put our focus. And you guys that have been coming, right? So the last 2 meetings, we've been going over the words and the psychology, because that's what this business is all about. This is the marketing system. You developing your list, you getting new names and numbers, This is your advertising, this is your marketing, right? I've never paid a penny in 15 years on advertising or marketing or spent a dime to recruit people or to book appointments in 15 years. And I've made six figures and multiple six figures every single year I've been here through the words of the business and building a team and getting new prospect lists and learning, and then getting people, other people get the words and getting into other people's markets. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
So this is very, very important. So you're going to get a little uncomfortable tonight. You guys ready for that?
Yes.
Oh, wait, I got something. I forgot. Got something for somebody. Here's, this guy had a big payday today. So when you get a comma check, you get a multiple comma check, I'm gonna give you a king size payday bar. So this is for Mr. Reginald Whiteley right here. So let me. You guys got this?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so let me go over something real quick with you, and then we're gonna dive just right into it, head first into this thing, right into the deep end here. There's something called the scenario of disaster. I want to cover this with you guys really fast. Pull this up. You guys all see this here?
Yes.
So it says mastering. If you guys are on your phones or devices, can you guys please get off your phones and devices and pay attention, please? Personal contact. Mastering a quality invitation is the proven method of avoiding the scenario of disaster. Okay? Remember, you must control the point of contact. So here's what happens. When you're new, actually before we even go over this, let me just explain something. Sometimes when we learn things, kind of like in school, right? When you know the answer, the teacher goes, who knows? And raise your hand, right? And then you know the answer, you want to raise your hand, and you want to give them the answer, right? In our business, we're in a business of keeping people curious, right? So curiosity is very, very important when you're setting up a KTP appointment, or let's say it's someone that you already know might want to save or do something, right? Or you're inviting out to the BPM, it's very important that you keep curiosity there, because then that draws them in, right? So let me explain something really fast here before we really dive into this part. Is you have something called curiosity, okay? And then you have another thing over here called skepticism, okay? And kind of look at it kind of like, what's the best way? Kind of like, like one of these deals. Some of you guys have seen me do this before, many times, right? So you have curiosity and skepticism, right? So when typically, like if you start answering a bunch of questions, you're brand new, and once you kind of start to know things, you want to start saying more things. But that's a mistake, because the more you say, the less curious they are, and then now they jump to conclusion, which we're going to talk about. But typically when it comes like this, if skepticism is high, then curiosity is low. Okay, where you want to be at though, curiosity high, usually skepticism is pretty low. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through this really fast. So you have the scenario of disaster. Actually, let me. So it says your enthusiasm creates curiosity. They ask questions. You attempt to answer the questions, but you answer them wrong. And it's just from incorrect or incomplete information, meaning you don't know how to fully explain it, or you just probably shouldn't be explaining it at all because you're saying probably too much, right? They jump to conclusions and the result is failure. So the points here that I'm going to share with you is one is you have to show enthusiasm, meaning don't be tentative. We have a first class professional quality company, meaning you can still be excited about it, but still keep it simple, right? It says don't get into extensive questions and answers, for you it's premature. Let them hear it from our experienced leadership. So when you're inviting someone, leverage your leader and say, hey, you know what? I know one of the hiring managers, or I know, my broker's always looking for people. I thought of you. So that, hey, well, what is it? You know what? We know how to overcome that, right?
Yes.
We know the basic script. Hey, we're in the financial industry. Basically what we do is we show families how to make and save more money. We do that part of it, but then you're inviting, right? Or you're setting up a one-on-one, okay? It says, bring the person to the meeting yourself. So basically a lot of this stuff in the beginning, you guys, it's for people you know. You're talking to people you know in your warm market. Bring the person to the meeting yourself. Now, if you prospect someone, isn't that kind of weird to actually to pick them up? Right? If you just met someone, it'd be kind of weird, right? I know some agents try to do that. I'm like, no, don't do that. That's kind of weird. And I know there's Uber and everything, that does that already, but just, I'd say give them the address and, or whatever, and if they're interested, they should be able to find the place and show up. But if it's someone the first way for sure that they're gonna come is by picking them up. Hey, it's at 7 o'clock, I'll pick you up at 6:30, boom. Then you show up, maybe they're not dressed properly, hey, let me get you in a tie, or hey, I need to clean you up a little bit, hey, tuck your shirt in, whatever, right? You gotta make me look good, and hey, you wouldn't show up like this to an interview, would you? All right, well, let's put some slacks on, right? Because sometimes it blows me away how someone will bring a guest sometimes. I'll bring a guest in jeans and a t-shirt. And I'm like, but you're in a suit, but then you're allowing your guest to come in street clothes. Well, no. Shoot, would you, if this was Apple and you were introducing someone to a CEO of Apple, would you introduce, and they were looking for a job, or you're introduce them to an opportunity, would you have them dress in normal street clothes? No, you want them to dress professional, right? One, so that you look good, but two, so we don't go why are you dressed like that especially to a corporate overview, right? But bring them yourself, or meet them at a neutral site. And then lastly, give clear and concise directions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, and that's where the confirmations come in and things like that too when you're inviting. So it says, whenever possible, invite both the husband and wife. They're both decision makers. Meaning, in that scenario, if you can, hey, is your wife available to come? Is your husband, able to come? Maybe you guys can find a babysitter and you guys can both come, because this is going to be, you're going to want the support of your significant other on this. This is a big deal, right? Because what happens when only one spouse comes? Then the other person's, right? So the husband's all excited and then goes back and tries to explain it to the wife, but can't explain it to the wife the same way, right? And then there's a bunch of questions, and if they're still new, then they're saying all the wrong stuff to their wife, and might not get the support. So it's important that we involve the husband and wife whenever possible. It says, master the invitation. This gives you the method to effectively communicate who we are and what we do. Learn to be a mobile inviter. So your job is to invite people, whether it's a one-on-one or whether it's a BPM. That's your number one job. The person that masters the invitation and gets good at getting people to the office will be the biggest person in the company. The highest income earners are the biggest builders. The best prospectors, the best inviters, and they become the best recruiters. Typically, the best recruiters become the best builders, more often than not. Right? And I say that to a room, whether there is 50 people in here, because a lot of times we get, you get in that mode where you're like, I'm getting licensed so I can get paid. I have to write sales. But when you understand the system, when someone comes in, right? When someone comes into your business, usually an agent is going to become a client anyways, right? We always, recommend all agents become clients so that you're not selling from an empty wagon, you believe in it, you own it, you know the process. But then also who that new prospect can lead you to, right? They have friends and family that don't understand their 401ks, that need life insurance, et cetera, et cetera. So instead of you just chasing one potential client and maybe 3 or 4 referrals, you have a new business partner that's going to get licensed, go sit down, build a list of 100 names and numbers, and you got a lot more activity to work with. And so the better you get at that, the more you'll never run out of business to go right, the more you'll have, you'll start to form a team like this and good things start to happen. I want you guys to write down on your sheet of paper right now how wide you are at this meeting right now. How wide you are. Matter of fact, what I do is I write out, every meeting I write out, or if I'm using my tablet, I type in, whether I'm doing the training or right there and during recognition, I type in who's directed me at the meeting. So I start to go through, is this on here? Anyway, okay. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna jump into it. But so what I do is I put my direct. So measure that. One of the things that was said said yesterday was, I think it was JR was challenging people that, hey, go get 10 new directs at Walpole. Bring 10 new directs at Walpole. And I was like, boom. So I started doing the numbers and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I have this many directs showing up, and I think I have 14 directs here tonight. I'm like, okay, I gotta have another 10. So I'm like, man, I want to be 25 wide at Walpole, and shoot, my license plate says 100 wide. So I set a big enough goal to really get this thing revved up and to get wide, because width equals wealth, right? Width equals wealth. The bigger the team you have, the bigger the foundation you have. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into groups right now. We're gonna pick offices, right? Who are the SMDs that we were doing? So you want to do Ethor, right? Okay. Okay.
So let's see how many rooms we, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the one. I need, SMD for the help me script.
Okay, so Marianne, you're gonna go into this middle one. Dee Dee, you can go into Matt's.
Okay, and I'm gonna do Ethor.
Okay, so Ethor for the KTP.
Okay.
Hold on. All right, so she's doing inviting the BPM.
Okay, we're gonna give you a few of these, so take about 5 of them. And so you're gonna take your group in a room, and then you'll go over your script. Okay. And make them practice it. We're gonna have everybody. Oh, okay. I got you.
Reggie. Marion. Alright, so you're gonna stand someone out that you work with, and they're gonna prospect you.
We did the
Yeah, I know. So you're gonna do that next.
so prospect me? Okay.
Hold on. No, it's going to Reggie. Reggie's group is possible.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Or you want to grab someone from Robert's group?
Call somebody from your group that was with you. You were with Reggie, Rudy.
Do you prospect every day?
Every day.
Yeah. See, he already knows how to prospect. Someone doesn't know how to prospect.
I know it's how to
Stay right there,
prospect.
stay right there.
All right.
Stay right there.
Okay. Hey man, how you doing?
Oh, hi. Hey.
How's your day going, man?
Good.
That's right, man. That's right. You dress pretty sharp, man. You dress like that just walking around Walmart, or you work like that?
No, I'm here shopping.
You here shopping?
I do real estate.
Okay, that's awesome, man. That's an amazing industry.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I actually work in an industry similar to that.
What's that?
I do finance. I work with financial firms.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That's
What you guys
awesome.
do?
We pretty much do the same thing you guys do, but we help people with their money. Would you ever think about making some extra money on the same deals you do in real estate?
Yeah, I can make some extra money doing
Yeah?
it. No, absolutely.
Definitely, man. Well, now's not the time to talk, but I'd love to set up a time where we can sit down and discuss it a little bit more. What's your number?
909.
909.
745.
Cool, man. All right, man. Well, my name is Andrew.
Okay, Reggie, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man. I'll give you a call a little bit later on today.
All right, take care.
All right.
So I would just, you sound great. I would pre-frame when you're gonna call or how soon you're gonna call and what that conversation's gonna be like. I know when I prospect, I kind of go, hey, I'm gonna give you a call the next day or two so we can set up a time to meet. Okay? All right, so now stand back up. Now you're calling them. So now you already got the number, now it's the next day or 2 days later, now you're calling them. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Reggie, how you doing? This is Andrew. We met in Walmart.
Oh, hey, Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm giving you a call because I remember we talked, and I was supposed to be giving you a call to set up a time where we could sit down and meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely. What works best for you? I have my schedule right here in front of me. I have Monday and Tuesday. Which one of those works best?
Andrew, this ain't Prime America, is it?
No, not at all, man.
I went down there and do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, man. I see those guys all the time. They try to get me too, man. It's not that.
Okay. It's not one of those pyramid deals or nothing.
No, it's not a pyramid at all, man. Those are actually illegal. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't know if it's but anyway. Yeah, that's fine, man. We get together.
Yeah, definitely. So what works better, Monday or Tuesday?
Man, you know what, Andrew? I get off late on Monday and Tuesday.
You get off late on Monday and Tuesday. What time do you go in, man?
I go in about 8.
About 8?
Yeah.
Well, look, I have the mornings and the afternoon. What time are you off?
Monday and Tuesday's not good. You got another day?
Actually, man, I'm really busy this week. Can we set it for Monday and Tuesday? It'll only take about an hour of your time,
Hold on.
and it'll be real quick.
Nah, yeah, Monday and Tuesday booked. You got another day?
I have Saturday mornings. Does that work for you?
Saturday kind of works. Saturday works.
Saturday works, okay.
Get the road
Can you
back
do the
time.
morning?
Yeah, Saturday morning works. That good.
All right, man, definitely. I'm actually having an open house where we're gonna be inviting people down.
Like a
to
real
see-
estate open house?
Something like that. We're gonna let people see what it is that we do and how our business works.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. Definitely. So you can make it Saturday at 10, right?
Yeah, I'm open.
All right, man. Definitely. I'll send you the address right now. Well, actually, do you have a piece of paper and a pen?
I do.
All right, man. Here's the address. It's 22820 Allies Place.
Okay, you're getting it, right? All right, you got it. All right, give him a hand. Give him a hand.
Okay, I'm gonna call Joe up here.
Joe.
I'm gonna go up there.
No, no, stand up.
From there, oh, yeah.
Okay, this is invitation, right?
Ethan.
Invitation to BPM, right?
Yeah.
Alright, let's go. Ring ring.
Hello,
Hi, is this Dee?
yes it is.
Hey, this is Joe. How you doing?
Hi, Joe.
We haven't talked in a while.
Hey, I
How's
haven't heard from
everything
you for
going?
a while.
Yeah, how's everything going?
Great,
How's
great,
the husband?
awesome.
Awesome, that's great to hear. Yeah, so I don't know if you heard, but I just started with a new financial firm. I'm really excited. I'm in training. I need your help. Would you help me out? Yeah, all right. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hi,
All
this is
small
Dee.
talk. Let's just
Blah blah
start
blah. Da 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 da. Hey, Dee, what are you doing Tuesday night?
with Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday evening.
Yeah. My favorite show's on Tuesday.
Uh,
Wow, what do you got going on?
Well, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I just started with a new financial firm. I'm excited, I'm in training, and I need your help. You'll help me out, won't you?
Absolutely.
Joe, sure. Well, what is it? Is it,
Well, like I said,
Financial firm?
yeah,
What
it's
is it?
financial services. I really value your opinion, so I really would like you to come down to our office. Maybe if you like to see, you can send me some referrals down the line.
Okay, sounds good. Do I need to, am I gonna have to buy something, Joe?
No, you know what, that's the last thing I'd ever ask of you. You don't have to buy anything, it's just that I value your opinion. I really want you to see what we have going on.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, so, it's from 7 till, around 9. We're business attire, so if you have some nice clothes, that would be nice if you did your best to dress as best as you can. We wanna
Sure,
got
yeah,
a lot of sharp people there, we wanna
Okay.
impress everybody.
alright.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Do you have a pen? You can take down
I
the
do.
address?
I have a pen
Awesome,
right
awesome.
here.
Here, so the address is 123 Main Street.
Okay,
go.
okay, great.
All right. So, Lalo, we're gonna have you do the, help me script to invite for the, to do a KTP, okay? Ready?
KTP.
Yes.
Do a KTP at your house?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't practiced this one yet, but anyway. Hello, Marianne, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Lalo, how are you?
Good, good. This is Eduardo Casillas KTP, huh? Okay, great. Okay, listen, do you have a minute?
Of course.
Sure, okay. I don't know if you know, but I just started in a financial service firm, and I'm excited, I'm in training, and I need your help. Would you help me?
Yes, you forgot the new. Okay, keep going.
You would help me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, anyway, I'm gonna, I want you to, you're gonna be meeting, my friend, my partner is gonna be training me, so.
I
his
need
name-
1 hour of your undivided attention.
Oh, okay. Can I get an hour of your undivided attention?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great. I'm gonna be bringing somebody with me, is my trainer. He's helping me with my training so I can get promoted. So,
Not promoted.
let me see. Okay,
Training, you're in training? Oh, yeah, it's promoted.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, anyway, would Wednesday or Thursday work for you?
I have his or her calendar in front of me.
Oh, okay, this is what we did earlier, okay. Yeah, I do happen to have his calendar open in front of me, so I see that it's available, his schedule is available for, Wednesday or Thursday. What works best for you?
Thursday?
Thursday, okay, 6 or 8 o'clock?
Let's do 8 o'clock.
Great, I'll see you then, I appreciate your willingness to help me out. So, you will have your spouse there available, right?
Definitely.
Okay, great. One last thing, I need you to confirm this appointment with me, and I don't want you to back out of this. Could I count on you to do that?
Yes.
Great.
Good job.
Great.
Give him an applause. A little work, but not bad. A little more work, but not bad.
Couple things I want y'all to remember is that I was telling my group, you remember the telephone game? You know it?
Yeah.
When you whisper something in somebody's ear and then they're supposed to say the next thing, and then by the time you get to the end, it's completely different,
Yeah.
right? We can't do that here.
Stick to the script.
We have to stick to script, because you know why? Nikki, what, are you an associate, a training associate, or what are you? You're a training associate. Well, someday you're gonna be an SMD, right? Or someday you're gonna be a senior associate, training your own team, right? Are y'all gonna be training your own
Yes.
team?
Yes.
Huge teams, right?
Yes.
You want to be saying the same thing. We want to sing the same song. We don't want to run into the scenario of disaster. This is going to help you. This is going to prevent you from running into the scenario of disaster. Because we could go on and on and on, and I think we, know so much that. But the reason why it's worded like this is because it helps you get off the phone. It helps you. Your prospecting helps you just be able to walk away before that prospect dives in and asks you everything under the sun, right?
Yes.
And then they think, oh, I know. They think they know what you do, and so they're like, no, I'm not interested. So we wanna say as little as possible, give them the information that, you know, we need to, but we all wanna be, we're all one company, right? We all
Yes.
wanna be singing the same song. I was telling my team also, my group, we start off and we're uncomfortable, right? All these words in here, they're uncomfortable. And we're all gonna be uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable when we started. I was like not stuttering, but I was like falling over my words. I was like, let me start over, right? That's uncomfortable when we learn a new script. Then you come into the mechanical stage and you say, hi, I'm excited, I'm in training, I need your help, you'll help me out, won't you? But then you get to a point where you're in natural, because you know the words, you've said them a ton of times, right? And we wanna be in the natural stage, knowing the words, the same words that we all say, right? This company, the founders of our company, the people who wrote our BFS, these words are in the BFS, they knew what they were doing, right? Would you say?
Yes.
Monty Home, Rich Foley, all of them. They probably hit the scenario of disaster time and time again, and then came up with something that works. So don't try and go and recreate the wheel, right? We wanna do this as a team, as a company, we wanna say the right thing so that we don't, so that we get results, right? Okay? So, does anybody else really quickly wanna come up and do whatever they were trained on tonight? Oh, you wanna hear some objections?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can hit you with some objections, okay? Who wants to, where's Rosario? Who wants to volunteer? Raise your hand really high for me. Come on up, come on up. Yeah, I wanted you to do this. Come on up. She told me, I'm not gonna go out. Okay. You can do it. Ethor.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Didi. Hi.
Hi.
This is Nikki, Didi.
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm fine.
I believe in you.
See, I'm the nice one. No. That's gonna help you more. That's gonna help you.
right there.
Yeah.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Didi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, Nikki. How are you?
Yeah, fine. It's been a while, Didi.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I'm great. I'm doing wonderful.
How's your husband? And the
He's
kids?
awesome.
Yeah. I don't. Then what next? I don't know. What is that?
Oh.
I don't know if you. Whoa.
No.
Am I right?
What are you doing Tuesday?
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. What are you doing Tuesday night?
Tuesday? I'm just, I'll be at home. Why, what's up?
Okay. Not really, nothing really much, but I don't know if you know, I just got started with a financial firm, and I'm really excited. I'm excited. I'm in training, and I'll need your help. You'll help me, won't you?
Sure. What do I have to do? Oh, yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah. Is that I value your opinion. I want to invite you over to our office for a corporate overview, and I want you to see what I'm doing, and maybe you like what you see, and then in the future you can send me down. You can send me referrals.
Yeah. Well, can you give me some more information?
Well, we basically, well, that is obsolete. We save, you know, help people.
You can say that.
Yeah. Okay, what we basically do in my financial firm is we help people to save money, make money, build wealth, and retire properly.
Okay, this is great, but you're new and you don't know all that yet. If you don't know all that, what I want you to say, I mean, what a good option is to say, I appreciate your interest, Dee Dee, but now's not really the time to go into detail, because remember, I just told you I was in training, and I don't know a whole lot about, you know, everything that we do, but I'm really excited. Just reiterate that you're so excited, and, you need your help. I'd love it if you could come make it down, right? Okay.
That was good. That was good.
Mhm. Yeah, cause you know, and so if you don't know, if you're really brand new, just plead the fifth. You know, I don't know, like I said, I'm in training still, I'm still learning all about my company, and that's kind of why I want you to come, Dee Dee, is because, I value your opinion, like I said, and if I'm headed in the wrong direction, I trust that you'll tell me that. I trust that you'll tell me if it's kind of a crazy company or whatever. And, you know, people just love to give their opinion, don't they? Yeah. Sometimes you want their opinion and sometimes you don't, but, right? So that's great, because you know a little bit about the company. I talked to a guy today, I prospected a guy, a sharp Asian guy, in a suit, no socks, you know, sharp. And he said, you don't mind me if
Maybe I
you
should
don't
do
mind
that.
But you know what I'm talking about, that style, I love it. I said, you don't mind me asking, you look like a sharp guy, you're so young. What is it that you do in this suit? And he goes, I'm in wealth management. I love that. I love that. I said, mind if I use that? Because I haven't used that. I always say, oh, my husband, you know, he's in the financial services industry. You know, you can say whatever you want, but I like wealth management. So, yeah. So, but anyway, I think you did great. So you wanna finish with me?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
so.
I value your opinion, and I want you to come and see what I do. Maybe you will like what you hear, what you see, and you know, you can send me some referrals through that.
Okay. Sure. Nikki, am I gonna have to buy anything on Tuesday?
Trust me, that will be the last thing that I will have you do. I like that.
She likes that part, so that's why I asked her. Because in the room she was saying, I wanna say that.
Okay. That's the thing I'll ask you to do.
Okay,
So,
okay, perfect.
So it's gonna be a professional environment, you know, tennis, shoes, everything, but sales dress to impress. And start at 7.
Okay,
Do you have a pen?
I do.
Something to write? I'll just give you the address, but I will still, you know, text you the physical address.
Yeah, that would be good, because then I can just push it and I'll have directions there. But yeah, give it to me right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Main Street in Norco.
Okay. All right,
So
perfect.
I'll text you the address.
Awesome. Anybody else want to prospect? Is it time? Okay, well, we're out of time. So, listen, last thing I want to say is words of the business. This right here, you can't, like Nick showed us, we can't go do KTPs. How are we gonna get a KTP? We don't know the words of the business. We don't know how to invite. We don't know how to prospect. All those things. So sometimes we all wanna know everything before we do anything. Let's not have that mentality. Let's learn the basics and then go from there, okay? That'll shoot your business up, you know, like crazy. All right, you'll have an explosion. So, any questions? We're good? All right, you all did a great job. Glad you were here tonight. Practice your words, okay? All right? All right.